Come all you folk historians and all who sing folk song, I'll sing to you a ballad as true as the day is long, of a juvenile bushranger I've put to tune and verse. His tale begins 11 years before he walked this earth. He was a wild colonial boy, John DOOLING was his name. To Irish convict parents he was born in Castlemaine. In Ballarat and Bendigo his youth he did enjoy, until the day he became the wild colonial boy. A famine struck old Erin's Isle in 1845. There was no aid from government, 1 million Irish died. 2 million more sailed from her shore, the great hunger to avoid. Hard times for future parents of the wild colonial boy. 'Twas in Black 47, rebellion took full flight. Jack's father, William DOOLING, wanted guns to join the fight. He was caught in Tipperary, stealing firearms and £2, and stowed on board a convict ship, Van Diemen's Land bound. Jack's mother was a laundress in 1849, when she stole a dress in Wexford worth just 2pence at the time. Anne Burke was 23 when she stood in the witness stand, sentenced to 7 long years upon Van Diemen's Land. Jack's parents met in Hobart when their freedoms they had won. They wed in June of 52, July and bore a son. They named their firstborn William, in 53 came Kate. When gold was struck to try their luck, they sailed across Bass Strait. They disembarked in Hobson's Bay, then headed north-northwest. When Jack was born at Forest Creek, they moved to Miners' Rest. For 7 years at Sago Hill, they fossicked Ballarat. That's where Anne bore 4 children more, Anne, Thomas, James and Pat. And William and 7 children brought the DOOLING clan to 9, all living under canvas with spiders of every kind. The summer days were blazing hot, the winters bitter cold, all privations piled beside the rocks that glitter gold. Jack was nearly 10 when the family moved again. Through Maryborough and Tarnagulla to Bendigo they went. At first they ran a grocery store out on the Axedale Road, and then a sly grog shanty in the heart of Bendigo. The shanty was in Barnard Street before the rising sun. It gained a reputation for where men went for fun. Barnard Street was frequented by drunks and prostitutes. In court a judge described their home as a house of disrepute. William drank the profits, he liked to drink and fight. The children lived out on the street all day and half the night. They liked to play at Camp Reserve, the keeper they annoyed. Ranger Brown reserved a frown for the wild colonial boy. Come all you budding journalists, allow me to explain. Nomenclature anomalies regards the family name. DOOLING, Dowling, DOOLAN, deliberately spelt wrong on charge sheets, in courtrooms and nearly every song. Especially newspapers spelt it DOOLAN all the time. Throwing sticks and stones at ducks more often was the crime. Anne and William DOOLAN drew some headlines of their own. Theirs was fraud, perjury, bruises and broken bones. A patron claimed his money back and DOOLING threw him out. William lost his temper and he knocked poor Anne about. She spent 6 weeks in hospital and compensation sought. She tried to sue the patron, but that was thrown out of court. Soon Jack gained an apprenticeship in Bendigo's Pall Mall for Abbott's shoe importer, repairing boots and all. But when he stabbed a co-worker for goading him with names, they sentenced him to 4 months in a hulk on Hobson's Bay. When Jack came back to Bendigo, he began his wild career, with a heart that knew no danger, a stranger to all fear. He took to thieving with Bill Jones, a pal that he had made. While on board the prison ship, they learned tricks of the trade. On Boxing Day of 71, they stole a chestnut mare. Jack and Bill climbed Strathdale Hill and stole a firearm there. They took her to Widow Foley's, they put her in a fright. They stole some tea and suits of tweed, then stole into the night. Then just a fortnight later, on the 9th day of the year, to Hallinnan's farm, Axdale, they went to steal some harness gear. They didn't know Patrick Donahue would be sleeping in the barn. They warned him they would shoot him if he tried to raise alarm. They harnessed up a spring cart and headed back to town. With daylight fast approaching, they would need to cover ground. Donahue woke up Hallinan, who on his horse gave chase. The boys were in a spring cart, they would never match his pace. Hallinan rode to Huntly town, he woke the trooper there. Davidson was a soldier who had fought in Crimea. He loaded 2 revolvers, he saddled his best horse. He galloped off in quick pursuit, he'd catch them in due course. The spring cart rattled down the track, carrying Bill and Jack. The mare was running out of puff, the boys kept looking back. 'Twas near the Robin Hood Hotel, the trooper caught them up. He handcuffed both without a fuss, he could see they were just pups. There was no frenzied shootout, there were no shots fired at all. Jack was only 15 and barely 5 foot tall. They had a gun, so they were charged with robbery under arms. You could say they caused no injury, but not they caused no harm. Before they reached the lock-up, newspapers went on sale. The drowning of Patrick DOOLING was the story of the day. Jack's brother had gone for a swim and got out of his depth. Pat Power tried to save him, or at least that's what he said. I cannot help but question the timing of events. Patrick DOOLING's drowning on the eve of Jack's arrest. They say Jack didn't learn of this until he was in jail. We'll never know, but one thing's sure, there's much more to this tale. For 5 weeks that hot summer, Jack waited for his trial. Judge Williams was presiding, Judge McAvoy had retired. Williams gave Jack 14 years hard labour on the roads. They sent him down to Melbourne town, Pentridge jail was his abode. When Jack's mother heard the sentence, she flew into a rage. Are you going to lock him up? She shrieked like an animal in a cage. I've just lost one boy to drowning, would you take my other son? As they led her from the courtroom, Jack's sentence had begun. Come all you keen folklorists, and everyone besides, I guess by now you've realised the DOOLAN ballads lied. 40 years they'd sung the songs of bold Jack Donahue. They borrowed lines, and over time the DOOLAN legend grew. Jack was 26 when he walked free again. A Burwood Road hairdresser in Hawthorne he became. He was married with a baby when he died nigh 31, and buried in North Carlton. Jack DOOLING died so young. So now you've heard the story, I'm sorry it was long. It's hard to pack so many facts into just one song. I blame Graham Dodsworth, who hopes you have enjoyed the fruit of his pursuit into the ballad of John DOOLING, the wild colonial boy.